How to find the woman of your dreams. Welcome to the Shakaama Live Show with your host, Shakaama. My father used to love to make strawberry ice cream for us kids, my cousins, and one hot summer night, he got out the ice cream maker. I knew what was about to happen. He asked me to go get the salt and start pouring it in. I went, got the salt, started pouring it in. When I knew he was looking right at me, I stuck my hand down in the bucket and commenced to screaming. Now, have you seen one of those old black and white movies when people are panicking and they run both left and right? That was the patio, and all the adults started running this and that way. I stopped screaming, and when they had all stopped, not knowing why I stopped, I held up a fake hand and gave the biggest grin my little face could handle. From that day on, it was on. Our house was prank versus prank. My mother hated it. My dad and I pranked each other until he passed. In this video, I'm going to show you how to find the woman of your dreams. I will cover improving your speaking voice, being a man around women, not a woman around women, fractionation, NLP association, and finally, mind control. So this video is about how to show you how to find the woman of your dreams. Before we get too far, let's first make sure you understand this is not about picking up random women. The techniques I'm going to talk about is to get a woman to remove her social walls and let you into her world. Picking up random women doesn't involve that at all. It's more akin to getting a woman to think about one thing and one thing only. And what they don't tell you about that is that it only works on a specific type of woman that thinks like a man to begin with, if you know what I mean. This video is going to have you concentrate on a woman that is the female version of you, which means 90% of the women you encounter should disqualify themselves within the first few seconds. I've been meaning to do this series of videos for a long time. In researching this, I came across techniques that I use naturally. How? Because growing up, I hung around with girls. I know girls. Want to know about girls? Hang around them, study them, ask them. Over time, I naturally developed all the techniques that PUAs charge big bucks for. If you want me to continue this series, simply thumbs up the video. If I get about 10,000 thumbs up, I will continue this entire series, and I will give you free of charge all of the techniques that I'm talking about. But I'm concerned with getting married, not just picking up women randomly. First impressions are lasting impressions. And the first thing women notice about a man is nothing physical. It's his voice. So let's work on your voice. Do you dislike your voice? Do you squeak? Did your voice never change in your teenage years? Did your best friend come to school one day and sounded like Barry White, and you never did? Well, this simple technique is going to change all of that. It's going to take time and practice, but after probably a year of this, you might end up with a radio voice. It's simple to do to improve the voice, but it takes a lot of time. Okay, so we're going to hum. First, I want you to hit the highest note that you can, including going falsetto. Now, from that high note, I want you to slide down to the lowest note you can hit. Take a deep breath and try to slide that lowest note to even lower. After a couple of breaths, repeat the entire thing, starting with the high note. After about 20 times of going high to low, do about 40 breaths of just hitting the lowest note that you can. And sustain it for as long as you can on that one breath. It should sound something like this. So we started high, slide to low, slide to even lower. And repeat that. And you repeat that part about 20 times. Then 40 times by itself, you repeat the low note and try and keep going lower and lower and lower. So you would do do this for about an hour. Maybe while you're doing homework or playing video games, or if you're in the tub. I like to take baths. You can take a shower, soap up, rinse it off, then take your bath so you're not sitting in ooze. If you have someone who can listen to your voice before and after, they'll be shocked at the difference. As you do this daily, your good voice will stay with you longer and longer. Till about after a year, you'll sound like your good self all the time. That's my radio voice. Next, be a man. I'm not going to get into that stupid talk about man up. And when I say be a man, I only mean stop it with the sensitive listening to a woman stuff. If you've changed yourself into this mamby-pamby half-woman thing the news tells you, stop it.
Stop it. Get some help.
Here's a secret. Women who want to be with men like men. To be men. Not sensitive, not listen to them, not cry on their shoulders, not go shopping with them. In fact, I'm of the opinion that women should never be your friend. And if a woman says that you should be friends with women, ignore them. They have no idea what they're talking about. You only listen to advice from men about how to pick up and stay with women. Because unless they're batting for the other team, they're never dating a woman. Even if they are batting for the other team, the women they're trying to pick up aren't the women you're trying to pick up. You know what I mean? Don't try and be a girl's friend. You're looking for a woman of your dreams, not someone else's dreams. You're not there to be her cash cow either. Don't buy her stuff. Stop it. Get some help.
Stop it. Get some help.
You're looking for a woman, and she's looking for a man. That's all there is to it. You're not there to convince her friends either. If her friends get in between you and she and you, it's automatically the wrong woman. Again, don't listen to any advice that tells you differently. More than likely, one or more of her friends want you for themselves, and the girl you want isn't smart enough to figure it out. Or worse, takes advice from people who don't have her best interest at heart. You don't want a woman like that. Next, fractionation. Fractionation. This technique isn't new at all. Supposedly, it has magical powers. I'd agree with that because I've used it. Never to seduce anyone, but it does that all by itself. Mostly because I'm a jerk. I'm a jerk. I'm a jerk. I'm a jerk. Anyway. So, what exactly is fractionation? It's a very simple reverse psychology. Reverse psychology normally telling someone something you want them to do by denying them to do it. It sometimes works on children. For example, quote, "You can't even jump over that puddle." Quote, "You can't even clean your room in 30 minutes." Like I said, it works on children. Sometimes. Hope no children are listening. I just ruined your parental mind control. Oops. Shouldn't have said that. Fractionation is similar, but it's to break the ice with a person. Instead of denying the person to do something, to get them to do something, it's almost the opposite. It's giving the person permission to do something bad or wrong. Technically, you're complimenting a person with a negative aspect of themselves. For example, "You're such a scoundrel," said with a big, huge grin. "You're such a thug," with an enthusiastic nod. Men, I just exposed how women do this to you, so wise up. How have I done this? Examples. I was in a training course for work for weeks. One of the girls in the class was the most unladylike piece of work you have ever witnessed. So at the end of the class, she farted. I yelled out, "You're such a lady." The entire class burst out into laughter, including the Sasquatch. Also, we were supposed to give notes to each other at the end of the class to build camaraderie. Again, another lady in the class didn't play well with others, if you know what I mean. So I wrote her a note as, quote, "Miss Thing." She loved it because her friends called her that. She literally was overjoyed by that simple note. I did not intend either women to fall in love with me or anything like that, but it did have that effect. Next, NLP association. Now, there are a lot of NLP techniques out there to meet the woman of your dreams, but I've targeted one as particularly effective. Why? Because I do it naturally, and it really gets people to be instant best friends, or it's a woman nearly instant romance. It's called association. The way it works is you simply ask the person, if you want to act like Donkey Kong, quote, "Tell me about a fond childhood memory." And voila, the person will now hook you in their mind with a fond childhood memory. If you want to be suave like me, as you're talking, stop, look up to the left, and start saying, "That reminds me of when I was a kid." And you launch off into some fascinating tale of strawberry ice cream that your dad made from scratch. While you're talking, look around the group, if it's a group, to see whose mind you pique. And when you're done, say, "Anne, you were going to say something?" When Anne is done, you point to Jill. "Jill, were you going to say something?" "Henry, I saw you nod. Did you have a story?" Actually, I lied. This is about 3 NLP techniques in one. You control the group, you're the leader, and people will peg you in their mind with fond childhood memory. And good food. If you keep that conversation going about food, you can never go wrong with food. In fact, if you had a terrible childhood, use food instead and talk about fascinating, terrible food. That you're guilty about, that you just had the other day. Which leads into NLP technique number 4, self-deprecation. Women love men who are ashamed of fantastic things that they did. Don't be afraid to end the story with, I was on the toilet for a week, but that has got to be the best burrito I had all day. And add in, of course, I hadn't eaten for 3 days, so maybe my judgment might be off. You wrap it all in an inception of self-deprecation. So it's deprecation. Now, the story that I told you at the beginning of the video is completely fake and false. If you've gotten to this part of the video, go ahead and put a hashtag fake Shakaama. I want you to practice telling stories. But they are stories about something that happened to you that was amazing. But what I want you to practice is wrapping it in something you're embarrassed by. For instance, quote, guys, I got a check from Dad for Christmas in the mail for $5,000. But when I ran to get the mail, I tripped the mailman and spilled all the mail. There was ice all over the ground and mail everywhere. I literally had to rake the snow up to find all the mail. He was so angry. I started laughing, and that made him laugh. He was happy I plowed all the snow to find all the mail, though. What's the story about? You got $5,000 in the mail. People probably will be upset you got that money. You know, they'll be jealous or whatever. They're not going to come out and say that. But because you delivered it with a story that makes them feel superior to you for tripping the poor mailman, they're going to love the story. Finally, mind control. This is the final technique. It is mind control. People are so offended when you talk about mind control, but they don't understand everything is mind control. Commercials are mind control. TV is mind control. Movies are mind control. The news is mind control. So why on earth shouldn't you use mind control to get the woman of your dreams? So what is mind control for you, personally? Making a girl think a certain way about you. We already do that to a certain degree. We wear the best clothes. We take a shower. You know who you are that never shower until you date someone. Be honest. Tell me that you never shower until you have to go out to dinner with somebody or you're dating someone. We put on cologne, wear makeup, we pretend we're great human beings. We might even say we're movie producers. Oops, I shouldn't have said that.
I shouldn't have said that. I should not have said that.
So, we all do mind control when dating. I'm talking about more serious approaching to mind control. This is the technique to literally build a picture in the mind of the girl. We already learned about association. Now extend that for the entire evening. Just by doing this, you're going to paint a picture of you being a fantastic conversationalist. I want you to have a list of about 20 topics you will cover. Just list the topics. Then, when you're practicing telling stories, make up stories on the spot when you're on your date or whatever. Cover those topics, but you're completely making up a completely different story each time. I want you to include recent things that just happened or stuff that's going on in town or something like that. And I also want you to include nostalgia things that happened when you were a kid or when you were in high school or when you were in college, something like that. Finally, I want you to be very casual about everything that you do. You're interested in her, but not that interested. You're honest, but not that honest. You're naughty, but you're not a criminal. Mind control. Now, I want to finally talk about identifying the woman of your dreams. There are so many men who find a woman, they go out on one date with her and they go, oh, okay, and now I got to do this, that, and the other. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to date about 50 women. And I don't want you to pay for the woman. I want you to go on 50 dates, maybe coffee, something really cheap for you, and make it abundantly clear that you are going Dutch. You are not paying for her. Do you hear me? 50 dates. You're not paying for her. Coffee, something simple, ice cream, hot dog. You're not paying for her. You're not paying for her. And if she says, well, that's not the woman for you. So many men get confused in this modern time about how to look for Mrs. Right. Mrs. Right is all about sacrificing to get you. She wears makeup to get you. She buys new dresses to get you. She buys new shoes to get you. She goes to the hairstylist to get you. The whole thing about the woman is to get you. So now you're the one who has to pick and choose. Okay? Now, when I say people get confused, they get confused about that. So she's spent hundreds of dollars to get you. What's a coffee? Just tack that on to the hundreds of dollars she already spent with the makeup. All right? Right? They get confused about chivalry and a man should pay for... No. That's completely over. Why is that over? Because you are not courting women. Courting is when a father presents his daughter and says she's available to be courted. And you come over and says, I'm a gentleman caller, come to court your daughter. And the father says, why, certainly, young man. Let me show you to the parlor. So he sits you down in the parlor. Then he leaves the parlor. And then in walks the girl and her chaperone, be it the father or be it the nanny or whatever, right? And then you say, I would like to go have an ice cream with you, young lady. And so then all three of you, or four, there might be a couple of chaperones, you go walking on the town, you go to the ice cream parlor, and you buy yourself ice cream and her ice cream. Why are you buying the ice cream? Because she is a virgin. She is young. She has no means, none, of supporting herself. That's where the man pays comes from. You're also supposed to buy the chaperone ice cream too to make a good impression. That's courting. You're not courting. If the woman says, you should pay for my coffee, say thank you for self-identifying yourself as not the woman of my dreams. Marriage is about sacrifice. You're looking for the woman who will sacrifice herself to you. That's marriage. Anything else is not marriage. Sorry to burst anybody's bubbles who's out there. This is why we're having such a problem with marriage. You should only look for a woman who is going to sacrifice herself for you. Why? Because you also want children. That's going to be her input into the marriage. Right? So she has a fantastic job. If she says she does not want to take off from the job to have children, it's It's too early. You're too young. Blah blah blah. Yada yada yada. Not the woman for you. And you should have that conversation within 3 or 4 dates. Will you take off from your job to have children? If she says no, thank you for identifying yourself as not the woman of my dreams. If anybody says anything differently about this to you, they're not looking out for your best interest. I'm looking out for your best interest. Oh, but she's so cute. There is somebody cuter, somebody finer, somebody more stacked, somebody more fat, and who's willing to sacrifice themselves for you. It's about sacrifice. This is an honest dialogue here. Will you take off from work to have children? Well, I want to have a career. That's not the person for you. Because if she is going to be a good wife, what she will do is encourage you to go up, 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 up. So she doesn't have to work. Her work should be optional. That is old-fashioned. But marriage is old-fashioned. For all those people who say a marriage is just a certificate, they don't have the idea. They don't have it. They don't get it. That's not what marriage is. Marriage to them is that they shouldn't be married. Vaya con Dios, arrivederci, goodbye. Have fun with that. It's not marriage. And they're right. That's not marriage. Actually, they don't say that that's not marriage. They think marriage is something that marriage is not. The old-fashioned thing is marriage. That's what marriage is. This thing where I'm in love with him and I want to be with him. Well, let's get married. And then it's all about, that's my car. That's my dog. Where are my keys? That's not marriage. And you shouldn't be married if you're not ready to be married. And if you're a woman, you shouldn't be married if you're not willing to sacrifice for your husband. Oh, here's what I'm not saying that everybody's waiting for. Should the man sacrifice? By definition, the man is sacrificing. By definition, the man is sacrificing. Everything that the husband does is sacrifice. So if you can't find a woman who's willing to sacrifice along with you, it's not a marriage. Wish her good luck. What did I say? Go on 50 dates. Go on 50 dates. And I'm saying go on all 50 dates. Did you find the woman of your dreams in the 50 dates? But it's at date number 10. And that's okay. Keep going with the rest of the 40. Because what's going to happen is going to make you a better person. It's going to give you more wisdom about how to find the woman of your dreams. And right around number 25 date, you're going to reevaluate number 10. You're going to be like, you know what? I saw some warning signs, but I kind of got over it. And if somebody says, why are you going on all of these dates? You're this and that and the other. You're no good. First of all, it's none of their business. Second of all, what world do we live in? Are we the Puritans? We are not the Puritans. Trust me, you don't want to be in the Puritans. You don't want to be Amish. You don't want to be Puritan. You don't want to do that. The 50 dates is to get you used to women. And I mean used to women. And I want you to see every aspect. Because, we're all combinations of personalities, right? If you go through about 50, should go through about 1,000. But if you go through about 50, you're going to see strong aspects of personality that's going to come through differently in all 50 women. And then when you pick a woman, you're going to be able to identify the strong personality in that woman and be all like, nope. There he is. That's the one. That's the one right there. Right? I'm here just to help you. Like I said, 10,000 likes and I'll do the entire series. Thank you for watching.